meeting I'm speaking at. First, I'm honored to be a lifelong Iowan. From the Mississippi to the Missouri rivers, from Lyon to Lee counties, I've seen our 99 counties up close. Iowans are a God-fearing people. We love America. We love family. We ought never apologize for being people of faith, for being patriots, and knowing family is the foundation of a just and moral society, not government. Still, Iowans have placed their trust in career bureaucrats, faithless politicians, and party leaders loyal only to their private ambitions. They have betrayed our trust on issue after issue after issue. Escalating taxes, intrusive oppressive governance, malfeasance, misfeasance, and dereliction of duty, sanctuary status for illegals, cowering to a corrupt, privileged, and runaway judiciary. The two parties would have us believe there are stark differences between them and that they have our best interests at heart. Here's how they've competed to represent our best interests. They have raced to raise taxes the highest, expand gambling the quickest, hand out the largest corporate welfare checks to their contributors, appoint the most friends to bureaucratic posts, and secure contributions from powerful interests, feeding at tax dollar-filled troughs. So fiercely are Republican and Democrat bosses entwined with the same vested interests, championing the same misguided causes, sold out to the same compromised agenda, that only their red or blue garbs of deception distinguish them. Certainly their mutually inept and failed leadership hasn't represented our best interests, only theirs and the powers to whom they answer. We must no longer acquiesce to the treacherous leadership of false partisans, but embrace the vision and common sense, activism of true citizen servant leaders. The Des Moines School District was the most powerful, entrenched, protected, and corrupt division of local government in Iowa's history. In less than 2 years as a school board director, data-driven, unrelenting conviction empowered us to rout our adversaries and secure more than 24 reforms. With that same determination, we will take back our Iowa. The anti-family, pro-gambling, no-growth, corporate welfare, big government, bigger tax, Branstad-Culver era is over. When Terry Branstad became governor in 1983, Iowans were paying 3% sales tax. When he left office, Iowans were paying 6% in places like Polk County, 7% in places like Scott County. State government more than doubled on Terry Branstad's watch, and Iowa's population stagnated. In 1983, when the Branstad-Culver regime took power, Iowa had 6 U.S. representatives. Next census, Iowa will be reduced to 4. When Terry Branstad initiated state-sanctioned gambling, it began the wrecking of Iowa's economy and destroyed countless families and communities. Under Governor Culver, gambling interests have gained an even stronger foothold on our state. Now on Governor Culver's watch, crime is on the rise. Meth use is on the rise. Unemployment is on the rise. 97% of our high schools and 92% of our middle schools in Ames, Cedar Rapids, Council Bluffs, Davenport, Des Moines, Dubuque, Iowa City, Sioux City, Waterloo, and West Des Moines, Iowa's 10 largest cities, are officially failing. Iowa is no longer a free market or even a socialist state, where productive citizens get punished by an immoral government redistributing wealth and citizen earnings unjustly. Iowa has become a welfare state. Huge percentages of our citizenry are sustained by the expenditure of taxes collateralized by debt enthusiastically heaped upon the backs of our children and their children. Are we California or Detroit? Not yet. But party hacks, rogue judges, spineless politicians, and inept bureaucrats are racing to get us there. Now, for those who can't relate to the welfare state in Iowa, understand this. You didn't order the steak and lobster feast, which you won't get to eat. You didn't order the vintage wine, which you won't get to drink. but you will pay the check. An Iowa worth fighting for advances a bold, solution-oriented 10-step vision plan to repair Iowa, reorganizing, reducing, and reprioritizing state government, creating efficient, effective, accountable local government, eliminating extreme, excessive taxation, restoring a low-tax, free market economy, instituting real education reform rooted in academic accountability and competition, promoting a healthy Iowa through example, not government edict. And she's got my picture from a year ago on the paper. Restoring local control, zealously protecting private property and constitutional liberties such as the right to bear arms, making Iowa safe again, returning beat cops, practicing restitution-based justice, enforcing illegal immigration laws, ending Iowa's sanctuary status for illegals, and cracking down on corporations driving America's new slave trade, and bringing back honest, hard-working leadership with integrity to state and local constitutional governance. Governor Culver's recklessness has triggered a massive, debilitating, and imminent property tax hike. Yet Democrats in charge of the legislature and the so-called loyal Republican opposition are signatories in this senseless molestation of Iowa's taxpayers. To protect Iowa's taxpayers, we call for locking in property taxes at 1% of the purchase price. Instead of imposing huge property tax increases through local government, especially Iowa school districts, we call for the firing of up to 10,000 career bureaucrats from regions through K-12 who have systematically transformed Iowa's once legendary public schools into taxpayer-financed government indoctrination centers. We call for the termination of government services to all government services to illegals, including academic services. We call for ending the fraudulent practice of funding non-existent and phantom students. We call for education funding to follow the child directly to the academic center of the parents' choosing, vesting parents with power while divesting politicians and bureaucrats. These steps save taxpayers up to $1.75 billion. In the pretext for needless property tax hikes, allow for significant increases in result-based teacher pay, foster true academic entrepreneurship, and introduce excellence back into Iowa's classroom. We call for a shift from government stimulus to citizen stimulus, where Iowans keep their money and Iowans stimulate Iowa's economy. State-initiated economic development schemes, such as funding a ghetto grocery store or Polk County hockey team, have failed miserably. How many jobs were created for Iowans with the purchase of an iPod for the 15-year-old progeny of an aspiring movie mogul? So how do we fix this? First, we elect a competent governor with a real plan for restoring Iowa, not a proven, ready, tested panderer, nor a big lug. A governor with proven courage to do what's right in the face of adversity, rather than one like Branstad who allowed booze in a football game to dictate transformational policy. Branstad has no plan, only meaningless rhetoric. And if you've been paying attention, it's painfully obvious Governor Culver doesn't have a plan for this state either. Legislators, county officials, city councilors, and school board directors must also be held accountable. If they fail to perform their sworn duties, replace them. We are seeking good candidates to challenge a corrupt, incompetent status quo. If you have principles and conviction, become a candidate in 2011 or 2012. We will arm you with a potent Iowa-based agenda and the infrastructure to run an effective campaign also. We also call for all state and local officials to be nonpartisan and for the imposing of strict term limits. Frederick Douglass said, "Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, it never will." Find out just what any people will quietly submit to, and you have found out the exact measure of injustice and wrong which will be imposed upon them. And these will continue till they are resisted with either words or blows or with both. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress. My fellow Iowans, you would not be here today if you did not care. You would not be here today if you did not want liberty restored. You would not be here today if you did not want check a privileged, corrupt, activist judiciary. You would not be here today if you did not want to scale back bloated government and excessive and extreme taxation. You would not be here today if you did not want our children and their children to inherit an Iowa they will be proud to live in. In traveling 40,000 miles across this state, I have learned the political class has clearly defined priorities. Get elected, keep power, attack the opposition, fend off attacks, pander to cronies, and on the rare occasion, acknowledge real concerns affecting Iowans